Until then, namaste. Namaste. I'm Rishabh, and in this video we quickly discuss 3 points or 3 actions or 3 behaviors which you must never perform while you are watching an Indian classical music concert live. Now you must pay attention to the fact that these points were thought of keeping in mind a concert which is taking place in an auditorium. So the audience is sitting in front of the artist and the auditorium is not that big, to be honest. So the artist can see till the last seat. So let's get to the first point, and that is overclapping. Now, I don't think there's a word in the dictionary which goes by the name of overclapping. I just made it up. What this basically means is that the audience starts clapping at the end of every tan, at the end of every repertoire, every improvisation, and that sort of irks the artist. It sort of catches them off guard. Even though they are artists, they are looking to please you as the audience, but especially Indian classical musicians are not looking for a round of applause after every tan, after every alap, after every bol tan. They're not looking for that. However, let's say after every 10-12 minutes, the artist gives the person on the tabla, the artist on the tabla, a chance to show his repertoire. And when he ends his repertoire with a tihai or whatever, when he comes back on the sam or the mukhra, it is then that you as the audience can applaud him for his repertoire. You can also applaud when a tan or an alap or just a technique like a massive meen or chand and laikari, which the artist performs, really pleases you. It really makes you happy. Then you are of course allowed to clap. But you must keep a thumb rule in mind. Clap when the artist pleases you. Do not clap to please the artist. That doesn't make sense. Another point which sort of irks me, even though I'm not an artist, but it irks me as a listener of Indian classical music, is when the audience starts clapping along with the artist. For example, if it's ek tal going on, so din din dhagatiri tunna katta dhagatiri dinna, and the audience starts clapping, so din din dhagatiri tunna katta dhagatiri din, and the artist is playing his tan and the audience is clapping with the artist. The artist, of course, cannot ask the audience to stop clapping along with him, but it is sort of irksome to the artist that the audience is clapping along with the tan or the chand and laikari that he's doing. Because sometimes the audience may not honestly be capable to handle the rhythm or the tal that the artist is playing with. So that is also something that I find very amusing. Next, getting up in the middle of a concert. Now I understand that you may have to attend an emergency or go to the washroom maybe in the middle of a concert. I completely understand that. But you also have to respect the artist. If the artist is singing, let's say, a bada khyal, requiring massive focus on the alaps that he's singing, or maybe he's singing a tan in a bada khyal, which is spanning 48 beats, maybe in Vilambit Ek Tal, spanning 48 beats, he's singing a tan, and suddenly someone gets up in front of him and walks past him or her. That's a little disrespectful if you ask me. So if you have to visit the washroom, just hold it for a minute or two. So ideally, if you have to go outside of the concert hall, you should either wait for the artist to finish the whole composition, either the gap between the bada khyal and the chota khyal, or if it's an emergency, you have to really run to the washroom, then wait for the artist to finish the mode of improvisation that he's employing. So wait for the tan to finish, wait for the alap to finish, and wait for the artist to come back to the mukhra or to the bandish, and then you can, sort of get up and walk. Otherwise, it's a little disrespectful. Thirdly, this is something which I've rarely experienced. I have not experienced this a lot, but I've seen this a lot on YouTube videos, and this is also something which is a little worrisome, and that is whistling. We've spoken about this before, and I'll put up a link of the video, and that is that for artists who really understand this music, Hindustani classical music, Carnatic classical music, just Indian classical music in general, for them, it's a prayer. I mean, it employs all sorts of dry technical knowledge, but in the end, it's about aesthetics and it's basically a prayer. So praying and whistling do not go hand in hand. I was just watching a concert of Ustad Zakir Hussain, and when he finished his repertoire, ended with a tihai on the thumb, the audience started clapping, which is completely all right, and they also started whistling. And for me, that is not done. So try and not whistle when you go to an Indian classical music concert. So these were very short and quick 3 points, actions, behaviors, which you must never perform or do when you are attending an Indian classical music concert as a connoisseur, as a listener. So that was it for this episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, namaste.